Hello, welcome back to my course about learning Java development for beginners. Our topic for today is how to commit and version your code using GitHub. What is GitHub? GitHub is a global company currently owned by Microsoft. Its core feature is an online code Git repository service. Through the years, many more features were added such as wiki, task management, and collaboration tool for every project. GitHub also created their own marketplace where you can upload and sell your own plugin that integrates with GitHub. See this link. Here you can find plugins created for GitHub. For example, for project management, we have this list. Take a note of this website because you might use these plugins later as you go along, as you learn how to develop. Nowadays, there are several GUI-based clients that we can use to interact with Git, such as Tortoise Git, which we will install later. Git installation. Download and install Git from this URL. And check if it is properly installed by opening the command prompt and entering the command git version. Now here, it offers several download links depending on your OS. I am using Windows, so I will download the Windows version. And download, okay, it automatically starts a download. I think it identifies that my machine is running on 64-bit. But I already have Git installed. Now we just need to check if it is properly installed. So Git version. I have Git version 2.15. I think the latest one is 2.24. In your case, just download the latest version. And then Git Client installation. Install a Git Client. I'm using Tortoise, which is available for download at. This is a Git client that we will use to interact with Git. Again, most likely you are using a 64-bit version of Windows, so download this one. Again, I already downloaded the Tortoise Git and installed on my machine. So after you have downloaded and installed, you should be able to see a new context menu when you right click on any folder in your Windows machine. In this case, I have this Git clone, Git repository, Git create repository here, and Tortoise Git menu. As you can see, Tortoise Git only has 3 submenu items because this folder is not yet a Git repository. To be able to create a Git repository in this folder, we must click the Git create repository here. Now, how does a folder that is already a Git repository looks like? Now, let's try this one. This is a Git repository. So if we right click to it, we should be able to see some new submenu items. Pull, fetch, push, because this is already connected to a remote Git repository hosted on GitHub, which we will discuss how to create later. But before we can proceed, we first need to generate an SSH key. This SSH key is what we will use to authenticate our machine to connect with GitHub. So this is a form of security. And this is how we will do it. Open your command prompt or open your MobaXterm, which I have discussed how to install in the previous video. Because by default, your Windows machine doesn't have this command, SSH-keygen. And by default, MobaXterm already have this Linux commands. So let's start a local terminal. And here, we should have the command SSH keygen. Yes. Now let's execute the command here, ssh-keygen-t rsa-create, and enter your email. ssh-keygen-t rsa, and I will be using my email czetsuya@gmail.com, and hit enter ssh keygen. Now it will ask us to enter a directory where to save the files that it will generate. So let's just press enter so that it will use the default value, which is home mobaexterm.ssh id-r_rsa. Hit enter, and it says that I already created the files earlier. So overwrite, yes. In your case, you don't have files yet, so it will proceed in creating the files. Now enter the passphrase or password, test1234, and make sure to remember or take note of the passphrase because you will use it every time you connect to your GitHub account. And now we have created the files. Now, where are the files created? You will see this home mobaexterm in mobaexterm settings menu, configuration, and under the general tab you will see the persistent home directory. Just click this folder icon and it should show you where the home directory is. So in this case, it's under the documents folder of our Windows machine, mobaexterm home. Now let's open that one. Documents, mobaexterm home, and ssh.ssh folders. Now these are the files that were generated. Copy these files and we will paste it in our users Windows users folder, which is inside C, users, and Czetsuya. Czetsuya should be the users that you have entered when you installed a Windows OS. Now, I don't have by default a .ssh folder here, so either you copy the .ssh folder from mobaexterm or create it here and then paste the files. So inside it, we have id_rsa.pub and id_rsa. You must have these two files, and known hosts will be created once you connect to a remote machine. Continuing on, create a GitHub account. To do that, number one, open your browser and navigate at https://github.com. It looks like this. Now click sign up button in the top right corner and enter the registration details with a valid email address. Sign up and fill up this form. I already have an account, so I will use that to log in. Then it should send a validation email to the email you use in registration. And after clicking it, you should be able to log in and use GitHub. Now log in to GitHub and click the arrow down icon in the top right corner. Then click settings. Now we will log in. Alright, I am using an authentication code. This is an additional security layer so that it will be harder to hack your account. 294. And then again, after you log in, click the arrow down icon in the top right corner, then click settings. This one beside your profile thumbnail. But by default, you don't have a thumbnail here. So just click the arrow down icon and then that's the settings. And then in the left panel, click SSH and GPG keys. Now copy the content of the id underscore rsa.pub that we have created in the previous slide. Copy that one and create a new SSH key by clicking the new SSH key button. So copy the content of that fab file, open it in Notepad++, which we have installed earlier or in the previous video. Paste it here and add a name. Any name would do. And click as add SSH key. Once you have clicked this add SSH key button, you should be able to see a new entry in the SSH keys panel. Next, we will create our very first GitHub project. To do that, log into your GitHub account and create a new repository by either clicking the new button in the left panel with repository title, or we will use this one, clicking the plus icon in the top right corner and select new repository. In the top right corner, there is a plus icon and click new repository. Now let's enter the following details. For repository name, let's say Hello World 2, which is the project that we have created in the previous video using the Maven project template. Hello World 2. Make sure to select public and don't tick the initialize this repository with a readme. And finally, click create repository. Then in this section, you should have the repository URL, which is this one. By default, we don't have this option yet because we have just created the project. Now, this is what we will use later when we connect our project to this GitHub repository account. So let's copy this URL and continue pushing our Hello World 2 project. Number 1, fire up Eclipse with the Hello World 2 project that we have created in the previous video. This one. And right click on the Hello World 2 project, select team, and then share project. Select team, share project, and we should arrive in this screen with the share project panel. Click use or create repository in the parent folder or of project. In the project list, select Hello World 2 and at the left bottom part, click create repository. So it should create a repository in our project here. Or you can actually do that. That is equivalent to right clicking on the folder and executing this command, git create repository here. So this one is already a local Git repository. You can actually check that by checking if you have the .git folder inside the Hello World 2 project, which we have here. Of course, the .git folder is not present when you just execute the IR because it is hidden. And then finally click finish. Now this project is stored in our local Git repository. Continuing on, we will now push the Hello World 2 project. So again, right click on the Hello World 2 project, select team, then commit. Right click on the Hello World 2 project, select team, and then commit because we will commit it in our local Git repository. So these are the files that we have in our project. And drag the files, or if you have a git ignore file, right click on it and click ignore if present, so like this one. But we will not ignore these files, we will drag them from unstage to stage. And then add a commit message, for example initialize initial commit, and then hit the commit button. Now it is saved, it is versioned in our local Git repository with the branch master. Next is open the Git repositories. In Eclipse, we can do that by clicking the window Show View Other. In the filter, enter Git and select Git repository. So in case you don't have these views yet in your Eclipse panel, you can make them visible by going through to the menu Show View Other and filtering for Git. Select Git repositories and click open. So we already have it here. Next is in the Git repositories view, you should be able to see the Hello World 2 project, which is this project. And then right click on the Hello World 2 project and select Push Branch Master. Push Branch Master. A new panel destination Git repository should appear. In the location URL field, paste the repository URL that we copied earlier when we created the repository in GitHub. So in here, we will again copy this URL from GitHub. Paste it here and all the other fields should be automatically filled up. Hit preview button and then preview again. It will push the branch master to this remote URL. Now after hitting the preview button twice, a push confirmation screen should show up with the details. Here we are pushing the branch master. Yes. Finally hit the push button. Make sure that it's pushing to the correct repository URL. And congratulations, you just created your very first GitHub project. So it's the success message. Your new master branch is created in the remote GitHub account. Now let's check again. This is our GitHub Hello World 2 project. Hit refresh and we have the files push in this account. So let's check. We have the app.java, which is the file that we have in our project, this one. How does GitHub work? Why go through all those troubles of creating a GitHub account and connecting our local project to it? In this slide, I will demonstrate a workflow that I'm doing daily as a Java developer. Number 1, modify the app.java and add a new print line. Now, I have added a hello Czetsuya line. Let's try running it by pressing the Ctrl F11. I assume that you already memorized some of the shortcuts, especially for running and debugging. So I have the hello Czetsuya print and then commit and push the changes to remote repository. So how to do that? Again, right click on the project and select team commit or go to the staging view. In case you can't find this staging view, again, you can make it visible by going to the window, show view, other, and searching for Git. And here we have the Git staging. Click open and it should open this new view. Now, here we have the app.java. If we double click it, we should see the lines that were changed, like this one. This is the original file and this is the change file. Here we can see the new lines that I have just added and some spacing updates. And to commit this, just drag the unstaged changes into stage changes. See, it's very useful because before you commit, you can see the lines that were changed and possibly spot some bugs. Now, after dragging the app.java from unstage to stage, we will now add a commit message. Let's say add a new print line and then commit, or you can press commit and push. What it will do is it will commit and push. Now, for demonstration purposes, I will just press the commit and then manually push the repository or the changes by going to the Git repositories view and right click Hello World to project and click push to app stream. Now we can check the GitHub project online if our changes were propagated. Now this is a success message, so we should be able to see the changes that we have done here. Just click refresh and here is our new commit 39 seconds ago, and this is our log or commit log. Add a new print line. Now if we look at the file, we should be able to see a new print line, which is this one. So the change that we have done and the commit were successful. See, it's very useful when you're developing something and you have a group of, let's say, 5 developers. You don't need to copy and paste the code and share it to the other developers for them to synchronize. You can use GitHub for that, and that is the core feature of GitHub. Continuing on, now let's try creating a new branch. Let's say, again, let's say there are 5 developers and you are working on a new feature and you don't want the other developers to get distracted or their copy is broken just because you change something. What you can do, or what we normally do, is create another branch. So let's say I will create a new branch from master. Let's call it integration and hit finish. After you hit finish, you will see a check icon here, meaning this is the one that we are working on. If we click again the app.java, we will see that there is the hello Czetsuya line. Now let's again modify the app.java. Maybe let's add a new print line. Change from integration. And let's commit this one. Again, drag the app.java from unstage to stage and add a commit message. New branch, or add a log for integration branch. And hit commit and push. If you are sure of what you're doing and the changes that you have done, you can click this button. Otherwise, click commit and then review your changes. So since I am sure that I want to commit the changes that I have done, which is I have added a new system.out.print line in my app.class, I will hit commit and push. And hello world 2 next. It will push directly to hello world 2, and then it push the branch. Or you can see our new integration branch was created on the remote repository, or what you can do is right click on integration branch and push branch. Now let's go to GitHub and let's see how it looks like now. Now let's go to our project hello world. We don't see the log that for the new integration branch that we have written earlier. To see that, there is a branch selector here. Left click on that, and then we can see that we have the integration branch here. What a branch in Git means is that it's a new path of changes. So if we click here, we will see that we have the log that we have written earlier, add a log for integration branch, meaning you now have two versions of your application. Let's say the other developers are working on the master branch and you are working on the integration branch. Or let's say in our example, we have 5 developers. Let's say there are 2 teams composed of 3 and 2 developers, and those 2 teams are working on different features. You can actually create 2 separate branches for them. And after the development is done, you can merge those branches to master. Actually, what we're doing is we have the master branch. This is where we get the release, and then we have the integration. This is where all the recent branch is merged, and then finally we have the feature branch. This is where the development is happening. So let's do that. Let's say we have our customer or our client ask us to create a new feature, and let's call this feature, well, add a new print line again. And then click finish. So we have a new branch here, and it's checked out by default. Check the open the app.java class and then add a new print line from feature branch or the new request from your client. Now let's commit this one. Add a new feature branch. Click commit. Now it's committed in your local Git repository. It's not yet in the GitHub repository. To push this one, right click on the branch and hit push branch. And then here we can see that we are pushing the feature branch, and click preview and finally push. So we should be able to see our new branch here. Okay, we have integration and the feature add a new print line branch, which is this one. Now we have 3 versions of our application. And finally, when you are done developing a feature branch, you can merge it to a branch for testing, and that is what integration branch is for. To do that, to merge the feature branch to integration, what we can do is right click on the integration. So check out integration and then select the feature branch and right click and click merge. Merge will merge all the future commits relative to integration in the future branch. So let's try that. Feature branch, merge, and then as you can see, add a new feature branch. Now if we check the integration branch and open the app.class, app.java file, we can see that now we have the system.out.println line from the feature branch, which is this one. And now we can right click on the project and push to upstream. And after we push it, when we go back to GitHub, we should be able to see the update in the integration branch. So here we can see that the changes that we have in the feature branch is included in the integration branch, which is this line. And once you have done some testing in integration branch, it's now time to merge the integration branch to master. Now let's check out master, and then again right click on integration and then click merge. And now our master branch contains the change that we created or that we have from the feature branch, which is this system.out.println from feature branch. And we can now push the changes. push to upstream. Now we have the change from this is from integration branch and this is from the feature branch. Now let's check the master branch in GitHub. So this is the master branch. Refresh this one and check the app.java file, and there we have the changes from the two branches. And after you have tested the master branch, it's now time to do a tag. A tag is actually the final version for that milestone of your application. Let's say this is version 1. So you can right click on the tag and create a tag, and let's name it version 0.0.1, and you can add a tag message here. I don't really add a tag message. I will just create tag and start push. Click next and finish. So if you have a project, tag is the one that you will maybe present in your teacher or present or deliver to your client. So this is, now you have a released, and this is the version 0.0.1 that we have. You can download the code and you can actually create a new release based on this tag and add some supporting documents. Like for example, you can add a manual and some other things that will be a part of your release. And I think that's it for GitHub. I hope that explains, or at least you have an idea how to use GitHub when you created or when you start your own project. And I think that's it for this video. I hope you learned something, and if you do, please do like my video and subscribe to my channel, because I'll be creating more videos for those developers who want to ship or who want to learn Java development. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one. Goodbye for now.